you everyone for coming to the ElectroNeek Winter 22 platform release. And we know that with ElectroNeek, this helps IT service providers conquer the RPA market. And you are going to learn a lot about this platform release and what we're going to be doing. And I want to make sure that you know who you're talking to as well. So on this next slide, we're talking, my name is Kendall Matthews. I am the head of product marketing, and we have Dmitry Karpov. He is our co-founder and our chief strategy officer. And what we're going to be doing is going over some great information, but I want to make sure that you take good notes and write down your questions. So we have in the chat section, you can write down anything that you want. We have people who are listening in and who's going to be able to respond to you. Now, I want you to make sure that you listen to the entire webinar as we're talking, because we have a great resource for you at the end for you. So make sure you listen to everything, write down your questions, and be involved, because we got a lot to go over. So Dmitry, I want to make sure that we give you this time to make sure that you say, hey, talk about your experience and then what's going on with this platform release.
Thank you, Kendall. Welcome, everyone. So how are we going to spend the next 45 minutes or so? I'm going to give you a good sense of what's new in 9.0 release that helps IT service providers adopt RPA and start RPA business. What's so great about doing that in the time when the world is so uncertain about economic conditions? What is being automated in small and medium size market of end users of automation? What you can monetize on, how you can monetize things, and how ElectroNeek helps you to do that. Then it probably will take around 20 minutes. We'll spend more time on your questions, because I know that you come usually from a diversity of backgrounds and experiences with automation and automation business. And of course, in the end, we will share a link that will allow you to meet our team and see all these interesting things that I'm going to talk about in action. So let's get started. And that's the end of 2022. A very interesting time for the industry of robotic process automation. The adoption of the technology is increasing significantly in the world, and at the same time, the software spending on RPA, specifically in the enterprise sector, is kind of gets to the point of relative saturation. Why? A lot of our promises in the past were made to enterprise clients about one bot for every person, and also the rise of the next generation of RPA platforms like ours that essentially drives down the software costs on the client side. But there is a second component to the industry, RPA service, building and monetizing automations for clients. And this segment of the market is actually booming. Why it's booming? Because RPA adoption goes out of enterprise, goes to mid-market, goes to SMB, and more CEOs of the companies, whatever the industry or the size is, understand that investing in automation is a bulletproof strategy for any type of recession, because essentially it allows you to either avoid hiring, which is expensive, or drive down the costs. And as RPA adoption goes outside of enterprise, there's only one model that really becomes sustainable and repeatable. That's the service. That's where a client that doesn't have the talent and expertise required to implement RPA internally comes to IT service providers, to our clients, to request automations being built and maintained. And we support in this growth. The whole strategy of the company, the whole product roadmap is about helping this trend to flourish, helping IT service providers make their first steps in RPA and turn to RPA service, adding automation services to the portfolio of things they offer to clients and monetize it in the most effective way. Because as we know now, we are mostly, I think, 3+ years in the market working with IT service providers. We know that just building bots is just the first step in this business, and monetizing them, finding clients, selling to clients, structuring relationships with clients is something that is very important, and where there was significant gap in the market, because a lot of IT service providers or managed service providers, they had zero experience of selling automation to their clients. So the market is in the rise. The adoption of RPA among smaller companies is in a great rise. The service model is the only one way for this model to flourish. So if you join this webinar and you are CEO, founder, or CEO manager in a company that doesn't provide IT services, but you can benefit from automation, the story for you is about not to buy the software and try things. It's about finding the right partner who has the expertise, let's say ElectroNeek client, ElectroNeek partner, and working with them to build your first one. If you're an IT service company, then tune in. So what's being automated in small business? What IT service providers actually automate for mid-size and smaller companies? It's very important to understand that how we're looking for a nail approach that exists in enterprise when a consulting company or digital transformation company or big IT service provider come to a potential client and say, let us find the routine. Let us deploy a group of consultants, do workshops for your clients. Let us deploy some process mining software, and then we will assess 10 different automation opportunities, and we'll find the right one for the first project. Doesn't work with smaller companies. Not because they don't have routine processes, of course they do, but it's about different go-to-market motion. It's not about coming and offering to find. It's about coming and telling what can be automated and trying to feed this family of cases on a client environment. And that's why we now enable our clients, IT service providers, to go to market with very distinct set of automation cases. We call it automation cases families that you can rely on the ElectroNeek product and ElectroNeek team to help you deliver. And I'm going to talk more about some of the business enablers for that, but essentially what's coming different for IT service providers who work with ElectroNeek, their own go-to-market to their existing clients or new clients becomes structured by the case. We call it productized automation cases. Let me talk a few minutes about what's exactly here. And these cases, they don't represent the vision. They represent what's actually being automated globally, and we do have IT service providers in 40 countries. We are very fascinated by similarities we see in what's being automated. So let's start with legacy automation. That essentially means that a client has a legacy IT stack that is not, which connectivity is limited or is absent due to either being a homegrown tool that never was designed to connect with other systems, or being a truly 10-year-old legacy IT stack where API documentation does not exist or is not supported, or anything that pretty much requires end user to spend enormous amount of time on clicking through the systems that cannot be automated, otherwise they're on a graphic user interface level. This is the biggest category of what's being automated globally, but at the same time, it's hard to argue that this category will grow in the future. There is another one, currently number 2, that is coming to replace it. We call it limitless SaaS automation. What does it stand for? Your clients may use modern IT stack. That's kind of inevitable over time, that everybody will switch to likely SaaS tools that will allow you to significantly reduce number of manual effort by connecting these tools with each other in workflows. But in fact, you cannot cover end-to-end process across multiple systems or across one system, because whatever is designed to be executed in an automated way inside a system never matches the real process that your clients have. And also APIs, they can cover only some standard scenarios. The issue becomes bigger when someone has workflow that covers a couple of systems, and the systems belong to different software vendor ecosystems, which essentially means that someone who owns, let's say, a payroll tool, an awesome payroll tool or point of sale tool, wants you as an end user to assemble your IT stack from friendly or actually branded products, because they have greater connectivity with each other and also great connectivity with the rest of the ecosystem. At the same time, these tools can be great for executing part of the process, but they all specialize in something. You likely would not find an ecosystem of IT solutions that are great in everything they do, and they connected to each other. So this becomes a very big opportunity to automate. It is growing. It will replace legacy IT automation. Document processing. Digital document processing is kind of brother and sister of robotic process automation, because you can extract data from documents with It was called intellectual document processing, and that's something that we aren't going to talk much about today, but there's some very cool features coming to ElectroNeek platform this winter to enable much faster automation of documents. About RPA can enter the data from extracted documents to pretty much any system. So if you are an IT service provider, starting from this winter, you can come to your clients and say, hey, if you use any digital documents and anyone looks at them manually and puts the data into systems, you can completely eliminate this manual process and automate it. Reporting. We were even surprised when we look at statistics of the product to learn that 7% of all workflows, of all bots ever built on an ElectroNeek platform touch Microsoft Excel. And that's why Excel automation becomes something that is very important for our product team when it comes to no code. As you know, we already had a lot of no code that was about built-in loops and making extracting data, manipulating the data easier. We double down on that. Sales enablement. Finding contact information of the right prospect for any type of business is possible, but costly. And it's costly because to do that efficiently, you need to work with multiple systems like LinkedIn Sales Navigator or outreach tools. And to match the data between them to say, okay, we do have email in this system, we do have the physical address in this system, phone number here. That's how it comes together in Salesforce. We eat our own dog food in terms of our go-to-market is powered by bots that go to different systems to assemble the data. And that's how we know that the market of IT service providers is significantly growing up globally, because we track this number of IT service providers extracting data from Sales Navigator. You can help your clients now who do this manually to do that automatically and essentially reduce the cost of finding contact information and ultimately cost per lead. That's a very great case in terms of it has very direct hard savings when it compares to expensive B2B prospecting tools. And you can now offer that to all of your clients. We will be happy to pretty much show how that works. Web scraping. Many businesses rely on extracting data from online sources, from search queries, and such things as Amazon or AliExpress, any kind of big e-commerce platforms or eBay, to make decisions, to pricing decisions or some other types of decisions. And we made it really, really easy for you to, first of all, propose to clients, second one, to deliver. And user management, that's another kind of eat your own dog food story for us. Company becomes bigger, every new employee in general, all modern companies, when they grow their IT stack in terms of number of tools they use, bubbles up significantly. And it's a challenge. Every time you add a new employee, you need to create so many different accesses for them, so many different credentials. And that's something that we work on automating. And we have achieved success internally. Many of our clients achieved that success internally. What's so interesting? Maybe it's not the service you sell to clients separately. Maybe that's what you already do for your clients. And if you automate this process on your side, like creating credentials and managing access, it becomes a click story for your employees, and you essentially increase the margin of your traditional IT services. And the last case kind of opens the door for a different discussion. If you're an IT service provider, do you currently implement robotic process automation internally? If you don't there's a question, because if you offer this to clients and you're an ElectroNeek client, you don't have any technology costs associated with internal implementation. If you don't have RPA clients, but you want to get into RPA service, one of the best ways to start is to implement internally. Because once you implement internally, you kind of serve two masters. You increase your own efficiency, it becomes much more productive as a IT service company. Second one, your automation experts become trained in delivery automation, and your confidence in delivering your first client project significantly goes up. I'm going to talk about the Service Hub as part of our product, and that's where you now can get help on your first internal implementation. And isn't it amazing that you can become a client of a software vendor being certain that you will get the value from automation very quickly, because you as an IT service company likely have a lot of cases to automate internally. We know these cases as well. We can come to you with showing what others are doing, what others are automating. And essentially you can be certain then, 2-3 months from starting our relationships, With 9.0, you would be able to show to your clients what's working in your environment, deliver value to yourself, and also have trained developer team. Okay, let's get started. If you have any questions on that, we will get at the end of the story. In 9.0, we remain the same architecture of platform components that we had in the past, but each of these components now has very distinct, full, rich content. So Automation Hub is where you're going to build automations. It's Studio Pro, where you build bots. That's Orchestrator. That's where you connect and control all bots built for different clients. Bot Runner, that's our innovative free-to-download architecture. And for those of you who maybe haven't heard about ElectroNeek, that's how we started in this business. We said that there should be zero marginal cost to automating a new process. And we invented the zero bot licensing approach. Currently, you can see some other players marketing themselves as saying zero bot license. You don't need to pay for bot licenses. But once you start to dig deeper, you will find that you pay for something related to either runtime or for the bot to be connected to Orchestrator, which is essential for bots that run in unattended mode. So whatever vendor in the RP world you go to, you will be paying in some or other form for running bots. With ElectroNeek, with only one platform, that is different. Why we made that decision many years ago and why we stick to that and still use it as a guiding star. Because we found that unlike an enterprise, in mid-market and SMB, processes tend to be shorter, and the automation gain from an individual process may be not that big that you will have an enterprise. And because of that, we want our clients to automate dozens of smaller processes rather than to focus on one or two bigger processes. And that's why we don't tap into your revenue from individual bots. Charge whatever you want for them. There will be no licensing components. Our monetization model, that's how we work with our clients, is based on how many people will have access to different components of this platform. And my team will be happy to meet you explain how exactly it works, but whatever plan you have, whatever the access, however it's customized, no one of our clients ever pays for the bot execution or for bot being connected to Orchestrator. No, there is no tricks, no strings attached. Why we again did this decision, not only about the processes, we want our clients, IT service providers, take whole money home. Whatever the client budget is for automation, it's yours because you do the hard lifting work. It's your client, existing clients, or you find these clients, you build the automations, you charge for the service. We want you to be able to charge for bots as well, whatever you wanted as a maintenance component or bots by subscription, but it's all your money because you do all the hard work. Also, it's worthwhile to sell. We don't sell our platform to end users, to your clients, potentially. We do not compete with you. We don't have any interest in working directly with your clients because we know that for successful adoption, that should be a client that relies on your service. They need to be a service client rather than software client for us. That's an Automation Hub. Business Hub, I'm going to talk a lot about the Business Hub today. So that's where we enable your service to the clients when it comes to everything related to business, finding, selling, closing, sustaining. A Service Hub. Again, let me talk more about the Service Hub, but that's where you get the support that is tailored for the business of IT service providers. Unique, no one else provides that. And let me start with the Business Hub because that's where our product team spends significant time on. And kudos to you, our product and our academy team, for creating and productizing all the collateral that we over the last 3 years, we received so many questions about, could you give us the sales deck? Could you give us a template for a client agreement? Can you give us a template for the proposal? And how to structure, how to price, how to module, how to understand financial sustainability of this model. Our team worked with experts internally and externally to put together a collateral that I think is best in class and doesn't exist anywhere else in the world on how to build go-to-market for RPA. And when I'm saying building go-to-market, it's not about like something very, very big. It starts with the first project, how to find a first client, how to assess processes that you found at the first client, how to pitch specific automation cases that I mentioned before, and so on. There are more than 60 video courses in the Business Hub available for everyone in 9.0 release. And also there's around 35 documents, templates, decks that are co-branded that you can download and use either in Colon Bread and Matter or something like this. Want to build on casebook? There's a template for that. Want to post electronic automation expert job description? That's there for you. Everything you need to run business other than building automations. Build automations is a automation hub. Everything you need to learn, you as a CEO, as a founder, there's executive path for that. You as a sales professional, there's a sales path for that. If you're a marketing professional, there are courses for you there. There are materials for you as well. And also there is one model that we call Starter Kit. That's essentially a fundamental 101 about how you close your first deal. It's about how to record a bot demo, what should be in, how to communicate it to clients, and so on. Automation is so powerful thing, but at the same time, it is so hard to communicate to someone who doesn't know the limits of possible, who cannot visualize. It's a lot about communication. And that's where my personal experience is coming from, of building big brand in RPA for a big four company. A few words about automation business and let's call it recession. I mean, economists have different definitions, and in different countries, people treat the status of economy differently. Are we in a recession or not? But I think we can all agree that the world entered very uncertain time. And one of the leading indicators of this uncertain time is that businesses of all sizes are reducing hiring. They're either freezing hiring or they start reducing the headcount, with very rare exceptions. What does it mean for IT service providers? You do have a relationship with your clients. You're looking to acquire new clients who likely would not increase their headcount in 2023, or maybe for the big portion of 2023, or even maybe for a couple of years. And a lot of IT services, they're monetized based on developer seats or endpoints, or something that in fact doesn't grow when companies do not increase their headcount. We know that because part of our business is based on access to the platform based on a number of automation expert seats. So we know that if you work with the market, with your own clients, and their headcount doesn't grow, your IT services, let's say traditional IT services like management, network, cybersecurity, likely will shrink a bit, or at least would not grow because they're monetized based on the headcount among your clients. Automation is different. You can charge your clients more for automation of a process that touches just one person, or maybe it's 20 processes that save 1 hour here and there. But your potential of revenue doesn't really depend on the headcount. It depends on the nature of processes and the strategy of the company that you're dealing with. So automation, I call it bulletproof for the recession time. It's a monetization model and a revenue stream that would not dry up even if clients will reduce their headcount. Moreover, the smarter clients, they will think of automation as an alternative to hiring. When they reduce their headcount, they will think, okay, I need to have my business still run smoothly, and I need to let some people go. How am I going to do that? Automation is the answer. But don't think that everyone is on the same page here. You need to be good in communicating the value of automation to your clients in order to be successful in tapping into this revenue stream. And this is Business Hub is all about. How you communicate, how you build the relationships, how you structure these relationships, how you monetize. For us, it's a big milestone. We wanted to have this for years, and we hired a big success team that work with our clients on helping them sometimes in consulting mode to go through this. Now the consulting era is over because we were able to digitize and productize all this knowledge and made it available to you. Through our success team is here to help you navigate these materials and know how to use them properly. Automation Hub, still the same beautiful interface that you like. Automation Hub is not just studio. As I said before, it's 3 components, but the major idea remains the same. That's a studio where you build, and we want the studio to be accessible, available, and powerful for those of you who do not have coding background. Maybe not you, but your employees, because we understand that that's a gap. What historically prevented IT services from entering the automation market? That was lack of expertise in coding, because automation in the past was about API, was about hard code. Now RPA kind of brings drag and drop. But as you know, drag and drop can be very different. If you work with other RPA platforms in the past, you may find that you first assemble some simple drag and drop workflow, but then you dive into every step and you need to start coding. We treat no-code very seriously, and 9.0 will bring you more no-code features that will simplify the work of your developers. It's a bit hard to talk about no-code in terms of like one big announcement, because it's not like one feature that you can click on and something magically happens. No, that's a combination of things, and it comes in the end to the experience of your developer. But our strategy here remains the same. Lower the barrier for automation experts to use the tool, make the bot development quicker. Connectivity. We now kind of sharpen the focus of our orchestrator and how we use APIs, and more of that will be coming in this winter. But we understand that you as an IT service provider work across multiple clients, and you want to integrate the automations you build very deep in their existing automation ecosystems via APIs. Service Hub. What's the most interesting about Service Hub is not only we kind of prioritized working with the support. So all the knowledge success starts in one place, whether it's a community forum or talking to our developer team by creating a ticket there. First of all, the depth of existing materials on what you can find without reaching out to the support team. Second one, when it comes to support, the Service Hub is a place where you get a very unique and powerful support on the delivering of real bots, of your real projects. In the past, we focused a lot of that on supporting your first client project. But as I mentioned before, now we understand the importance of internal implementations. And we have hundreds of IT service providers across the world implementing ElectroNeek internally first, and they are essentially more successful. Let's be very honest. If you implement internally, you will be more successful with selling our automation to your existing clients and delivering on that automation. If you will be more successful in delivery to your existing clients, you will 100% be more successful in finding new clients and building a go-to-market on specialized cases. So think about internal implementation as a starting point if you're new to robotic process automation. Don't take for granted any marketing of any RP platform about ease of use. Just try it yourself internally. Don't trust anyone's words, even ours. Try it internally. And if you are thinking about becoming our partner, we can focus the POC in your platform trial to the internal implementation, because our solution engineer team has so much knowledge about helping you there. So start with internal. We know where to automate and what to automate for you to get ROI and value from automation quicker. There's no marginal cost for you to automate internally. You need to eat your own dog food, as we all do. So our Service Hub will be the place for you now in 9.0 to start the journey. And we think that this journey sets any IT service provider for future success in delivering automation as a service to your own clients. I think we are done with 9.0 overview, and we can jump into Q&A. I'm very glad to see chat window actually become full with questions. So I think it's the right time to start.
Yes, it is. Wonderful. So one of the questions that we have is, what technician level is needed to use your platform?
That's a great question. So if I would say that anyone without any experience in developing of any technology solution can succeed with ElectroNeek, it will be a lie. But the devil is in details. for majority of cases, let's say 80% of cases that exist in the universe of small and medium-sized companies, or with all the cases that I showed to you in the past, you can successfully deliver without a single line of code, without using variables, without using cycles. You need to be able, your automation experts need to think in terms of the workflow logic. The RPA workflow is, first of all, is instruction for what? Do this, then do that. It's a logic. It needs to be depicted. So you want someone who can map a process to start. And then depending on the complexity of processes, the level of requirements will either go up and down. What's very good, you can start internal implementation 100% using your internal talent. That's for sure. There's nothing in IT service provider internal processes universe that will require a single line of code when you build something. Then it depends on the client case. Again, in the Business Hub, you can see what the typical job description for ElectroNeek professional looks like, and you won't find there that there's any requirement for prior coding experience.
Wonderful. Another question from Carlos. He's asking about security. So more security information. So let's see. We'll be there. So
that's again, by the way, thank you for the question on the security. It's one of the minor features I haven't covered of the Service Hub, but now you can download all our certifications and request pen test results if you need it for your clients inside the Service Hub. It's something, again, maybe you waited for it in the past. Now it's all available there. Okay. I've seen question from Scott on the webinar is recorded, of course, I've recorded. Would be happy to share. Regarding Green Polo, if we start working together, everything is possible.
Here's a question. Could you help us with bot development? We are working on the first bot. And is the Service Hub about this? That's one of the questions.
That's Service Hub is a booster for the delivery of your first bot, either internally or for a client. But that's the place where you'll be coming again in the future to get support. And we treat support differently than, let's say, some of our competitors or in general, the software industry does. For us, support is, enabling the technology side of your business. And automation is very broad thing. Like, someone can come up with very interesting cases that are unique. And we want to make sure that our support is not only about what product function to use for what, but it's about giving the answers to tough questions when tech talent struggles to understand how something can't even be automated. Because we understand that more help you get there, more successful your service business will be, a bigger client you will become for us. And I see SOC compliance in chat. Yes, we do have SOC 2 Type 2 compliance for a while. That's something we're very proud of. There was a question about the tools available for process discovery. We, at this moment, realize that process discovery is different in nature completely when we talk about smaller clients. As I said before, it's much more effective to go there with cases that are productized, that you can easily pitch, and likely you will have. We had on that slide, we had 99% of your clients have these cases. We can stand for these numbers because we know that pretty much if someone is in the market and delivering bots, I would say that 90% of our clients delivered at least one of these bots to their clients. Because the existence of these automation cases, like limitless automation, is logical. It's based on the logic of standardization of APIs and the logic of software vendors building connected ecosystems and limiting connectivity to others. And that's what enables this business. And we think that it's much more powerful now for you to come to client and say, forget about process discovery. Are you using as tools where your employees need to click through something or do something again and again repeatable because you cannot automate it with API? That's a better question. That do you have a case for automation? Let me help you to analyze what time savings you can achieve there. Think about less consulting, much more product approach when you sell automation to smaller clients?
Here's another question. Dimitri, Business Hub is amazing. Do you have a sales deck template there? And we also ask for ROI calculations from our customers. Can we download it from the Business Hub?
I think so. You likely asking a couple of different templates that we do have there available. Of course, there's sales deck. Of course, you can do the pricing calculations there. You can model the business subscription versus one-time fee payment and so on. Also the battle cards. This in fact something was requested for a while from us. Now it will be very easy for you to understand how to position ElectroNeek versus other tools when you come to your own client. Yeah, I see there's the question on multi-factor authentication, and it's being answered. Oh, yes, that's right. We do have it.
And as we're going through these questions, Dimitri, let's make sure we show that next slide as well.
Oh, no, sure, we do. So there's a QR code here that you can use to book a direct meeting that's linked to our calendars. So moving forward, you will be able to see all the things that we just talked about in action. You will be able to engage with our team to give you in-depth explanation of everything that's there and how we work. And if you're an existing client, the success team will book a call with you sometime soon to walk you through all the features and how they will be helping you. If you're a prospect or you never met us, use this QR code as a next step. It's a beautiful time of the year to kind of finalize plans for 2023. Whenever in the world you are, I think that automation should be part of your 2023 agenda. First of all, you likely feel the same in a certain environment that your clients do. So automating internally is the answer to increase your confidence in sustainability of business. The second one, you will, let's say you start a journey now. By March, you will have team of trained RPA professionals. You will have demos available for clients. You will have bots up and running inside your organization to streamline your client service. Join the party. 2023 will be big for automation services. The category will explode. There is a question on IntelliDocs. Let me be honest, my intent was not to talk about IntelliDocs. That's a solution that will allow to extract data from hundreds of standard documents in a structured manner, which means completely no code. You just drop the file and get all the data extracted, and the system knows where is invoice number, what's invoice date in case of invoices, or any other data. No need to map. It's so powerful in terms of you can deliver client projects in hours, and you can connect it to RPA and charge your clients much more for automated data entry. It is so big that I thought, like, if I'm going to start talking about IntelliDocs that comes online somewhere closer to the end of December, you'll forget everything else. That's why intentionally I decided not to talk about that. So, but if you go to meet our sales team, they're going to explain you what role it will play in our ecosystem. And maybe you'll sign up for a demo that will be available soon. And that's just magic. Honestly, like, we can make the whole release based on this. We intentionally decided to slow down on that and do a separate announcement. But if you've heard about IntelliDocs, okay, now you know that it's a big innovation coming to our platform that will make business of automation service as easy as never before, because to set up the basic workflow for extracting data from documents, you would not need anyone. It will be click, click, click. And also it will be the only one solution in the market that is geared to IT service providers in terms of you work with different clients. So you need to separate streams of these documents. You won't charge your clients separately, but you would like to benefit from volume discounts. And we made it all possible with our new approach to user experience.
So if you have not signed up yet for booking a meeting, go ahead and scan that QR code, because like Dimitri said, now is the time, so you can be ready for next year. We're going to take a couple more moments to answer a couple more questions.
There is a great question on on the situations when you run a bot as a service for your client in their IT infrastructure. And that's actually great deployment model because it's still a service, but unlike with other RPA vendors, you don't need to move the bot to your infrastructure for, let's say, the IP retention issues. What do I mean? If you develop bot as a service and you have big maintenance component, or you do have subscription for this bot instead of the one-time fee model, you exposing to certain risks for your client. When it comes to your clients, maybe not willing to pay the maintenance or subscription anymore. They take this bot, they hire another IT service provider, they modify the bot and charge them less because they didn't do the hard lifting work in the beginning to develop the bot. We understood that this becomes an issue, and our overall approach when you go to market is retain your IP rights. You own the bot, you sell the service to clients. But how do you practically be sure that the situation that I described a minute ago would not happen with the clients? We do have a bot protection feature. It's there for about, I think, 9 months or so. It allows you to protect the bot from modification when you ship it to a client infrastructure, which essentially means only you would be able to modify this bot. And the client cannot take this bot and benefit from any other way than just running that on the standard scenarios that you enabled. That makes your opportunity to do service business bigger when it comes to clients who want to run their own in the bot inside their IT infrastructure to either optimize on the cost of infrastructure or due to the nature of processes they have. Let's say they want everything on-prem. Thank you for these questions. I definitely see that some of them can come from existing clients because they demonstrate the depth of knowledge about the business. At the same time, I see that some of the questions come from IT service companies that likely never work with RPA, which is great as well, because we like to see ourselves as those enablers as a first and only one platform just to enter this business.
Perfect. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming. We really appreciate it coming to this release as an announcement. And for Dimitri, for ElectroNeek, my name is Fiddle Matthews, and we want to thank everyone for coming out, and we want to make sure that you have a happy automation. We'll talk to you soon.
And Happy New Year.